Hey there, English learners. Welcome to ML's English Podcast, where grammar gets easier, clearer, and a lot more fun. Today's lesson is all about the power of adjectives. We're going to break them down, simplify them, and make sure you leave with confidence. So grab your notebook, stay focused, and let's dive right in.
So, have you ever thought about this? When you're telling a story or just describing something, how do you really make it pop? How do you paint a picture in someone's head so they see exactly what you see? Well, the answer is a simple but an incredibly powerful little trick. Okay, let's get into it. The official definition calls an adjective a word used with a noun to add something for its meaning. And that makes perfect sense because the word adjective literally means added to. Think of it like this. Adjectives are the secret sauce you add to your nouns to give them all that flavor, color, and detail. They aren't just for decoration, they're absolutely essential. So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to open up the whole toolbox. We'll start with where adjectives actually live in a sentence. Then we'll get into their main jobs, describing, quantifying, and counting. After that, we'll see how they can point things out or ask questions. And we'll wrap it all up with some cool power-ups and even how you can create your own adjectives. All right, first things first. Where do we actually put these words in a sentence? It turns out there are two main spots, and knowing both gives you a ton of flexibility when you're speaking or writing. What's so great about adjectives is their flexibility. You can stick one right before the noun it's describing. We call that attributive use. For example, the lazy boy. Or you can put it after the verb, which we call predicative use, like in, the boy is lazy. See how that works? The position changes, but the meaning is exactly the same. It's the same lazy boy no matter how you slice it. Okay, let's get into the main jobs of adjectives. You can think of these next three as the core tools in your descriptive toolbox. Honestly, these are the ones you're going to be reaching for all the time. The first and, by far, the most common type are adjectives of quality. These are your classic descriptive words. They answer one simple question: what kind? They tell us about the nature of a noun, its size, its color, its personality, you name it. For example, we can say Kolkata is a large city, or that he's an honest man. You can even stack them up, like describing the foolish old crow. And there's a neat little subcategory here called proper adjectives. These are just adjectives made from names, like Indian tea or French wines. But they all do the same thing. They tell us what kind. Next up, we have adjectives of quantity. You use these when you want to talk about an amount of something, but not an exact number. So they answer the question, how much? This is perfect for stuff you can't really count, like liquids or feelings or ideas. For instance, you could say, I ate some rice, or he showed much patience. Words like some, much, enough, or little describe these uncountable nouns. You can't have, say, one patience, right? But you can definitely have much patience. And that brings us to the flip side of quantity, adjectives of number. These are the ones that answer the question, how many, or sometimes in what order. And these guys are used only with nouns that you can count. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, but it's also really cool. Some words can actually pull double duty. The very same adjective can talk about quantity or number, and it all just depends on how you use it. Let's see what that looks like. So the secret is all in the noun. Look at the first example. In I have enough sugar, sugar is uncountable, right? So enough is an adjective of quantity. But in there are not enough spoons, you can count spoons. So enough becomes an adjective of number. The same thing works for words like any and no. It all comes down to whether the noun it's describing is something you can count or not. And we can break these numeral adjectives down even more into three types. First, you've got your definite ones for exact numbers like 1, 2, 3, or for order like first, second, third. Then you have indefinite ones for inexact amounts like all, many, or several. And finally, you have distributive adjectives which point to each one in a group like each person or every single time. All right, we've got the core tools down. Now let's grab a couple of specialized ones from our toolbox. These adjectives help us do more than just describe. They help us navigate our conversations by pointing things out or asking for more info. Demonstrative adjectives do exactly what they sound like. They demonstrate or point out a specific thing. This boy right here, or that boy over there. These and those are just the versions you use for more than one thing. Then you have interrogative adjectives. Words like what, which, and whose become adjectives when you stick them right in front of a noun to ask a question. Which way? Whose book? Easy peasy. Okay, you've learned the basics. You know the tools. Now for the really fun part. We're moving from just using the tools to really mastering the craft. This is where you can add some serious punch and personality to your language. Let's talk about power-ups. These are special adjectives that don't just describe something, they add force, they add emotion. We're talking about emphasizing and exclamatory adjectives. So emphasizing adjectives like own and very are there to really drive a point home. Saying, I saw it with my own eyes is way more powerful than just, I saw it. And the word what can be an exclamatory adjective to show a really strong feeling, like surprise. Think about it. What a genius, or what folly. It adds instant drama. And now for what I think is the ultimate skill, creating your own adjectives. That's right. You don't have to just use the ones you find in a dictionary. English gives you the power to invent new adjectives from other words, especially from nouns and verbs. This is where language gets really creative and fun. You can take a noun, like courage, add a little something to the end, and bam! You get the adjective courageous, which you can use to describe a courageous hero. We can do this with verbs, too, like taking the verb tire to create the adjective tireless, or even make an adjective from another adjective, like turning black into blackish. The possibilities are just about endless. So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Using everything you've just learned, what's the most glorious idea or the most foolish plan or the most patient person you can describe? The power to paint that picture is officially in your hands. Thanks for tuning in to ML's English Podcast. I hope today's lesson helped you take one more step toward mastering English. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a new episode. Have questions or grammar topics you'd like to learn next? Drop a comment below. I'm always listening. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and stay confident.